Today on AI Impact and Strategy, we're going to talk with Conor Flynn, who's the Chief Operating Officer of Trinzo, a professional services company based in Ireland. Conor's been developing AI tools for his colleagues at Trinzo, and they've achieved some pretty significant gains in productivity as well as in speed. We're also going to chat about the future of AI. Conor asked me for my impressions about how AI is developing, so I shared with him some of the work that we're doing and some of the perspectives that we've developed about where things are headed. It's a great conversation. I think you'll really enjoy it.
My name's Conor. I'm here in Ireland. I'm not far from Dublin. I'm in Naas. I work for a company, Trinzo. We provide consultancy for life science companies, usually in quality and regulatory, but we do some supply chain for their suppliers as well. I'm a little bit nervous. I told the guys I was doing a YouTube interview, and I don't think they've stopped laughing since. This is my first ever YouTube interview.
After they see how cool the video turns out, then their laughter will turn to admiration.
Oh, I doubt that very much, but I like your confidence.
We'll see.
What we do is we help companies who have problems get safe and effective products back on the market so that people so that they can save lives, basically, make people's lives better. So very mission driven. Feel like it's important to what we do. I know we're a long way behind the front lines, but we help those people at the front lines do what they do. My introduction to generative AI, so you can imagine I stepped a long way away from the AI to come to Trinzo, but I remember fiddling around with ChatGPT since last year. It was probably about this time. And I'm fiddling around, having fun, and finding ways to be more productive. My buddy said, Conor, I have to have coffee with you. So we met in a local coffee shop here. And he said, I have to shake your hand. You've changed my life. I said, what? He said, this AI thing is incredible. Like, I have a problem. I hop on a plane, I fly to Italy. I stick the computer in the middle of the table. And when they speak in Italian, I just turn to them and go, is that what you meant? And it saves weeks of back and forth and misunderstandings of this. And what's more is at the end of the meeting, I just press, what are the notes? Read through them, I circulate them, and everyone across the world kind of knows what happened in the meeting. Like, I can do in a week. I'm a one-man team now. I can do in a week what I used to be able to do in a month. We need to leverage AI in order to empower our consultants, our people. A lot of what we do is getting highly skilled, unique people to spend half their lives reading documents and not actually work with the client, which is where they get their energy, where they add the value. As we work together in teams, we started to find use cases and where it was helpful in different people's workflows. In our legal department picked it up, and he was able to find a nice piece of software which helps him redline contracts. So when he's overwhelmed, he could quickly redline a couple of contracts, spot what needs to be done, and work on it from there. It saves him loads of time. But we're pretty confident we're twice as productive internally in operations as we were a year ago.
That's amazing.
If not more. And we've gone from the internal productivity journey that I started with, and now we're starting on the competitive advantage journey. How do we supercharge our people in terms of the value that they can bring to clients? And we've engaged a couple of technology partners in order to build mini LLMs for specific tasks and functions across the services that we offer. In what ways can we implement a bespoke AI that assists? Like, they're so engaged in the creation of this tool that, like, it gives you a lot of confidence, a lot of energy. I think we could do something special,
That's awesome.
So I just gave you the journey there that 10 years ago would have taken 10 years. Like that's in less than a year. Like the speed is
Yeah,
mind-blowing and the
right.
usability of it because of the NLP, because of natural language
Yeah.
um, recognition and the ability to interface like that is amazing. What are you seeing out there? Are you seeing adoption? Are you seeing pushback?
Adoption or pushback, I would say we're seadoption adoption.
Yeah,
And we're seeing a lot of confusion and concern, which I think is
yeah,
very consistent with what you're experiencing in Trinzo. Leaders are starting to wake up to the fact that this is transformative. And I'm spending a lot of time trying to explain to people how fast it's going to come. I think it's accelerating, and I don't think people understand or appreciate that. And so I emailed the CEO of this group and I said, a year from now or 2 years from now, you guys might be out of business because of the displacement that this is going to cause. On the other hand, if you incorporate AI, it can completely enhance what you're doing and make you stronger in the marketplace and more important in the marketplace. So that's what we're seeing. The rate of adoption, the rate of technology development, the rate of the improvement, I think is faster than pretty much anything. So we partner with a technology firm called Future Lab. So our firm is Innovation Lab, and we partner with Future Lab. And Future Lab is now starting to develop technology to help people learn AI and also work on strategic engagements to help large organizations and even nations to understand the implications of AI. I think the frontier that becomes really interesting is when AI starts to actually do creative work on its own initiative. So right now,
okay.
you mentioned Midjourney. We give Midjourney a prompt and it creates something according to the
Yeah.
prompt. What'll eventually happen is AI systems will say, oh, a book needs to be written on blah, 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 and it'll write the book without being prompted, without, being driven or guided by a human.
So it will analyze the needs of the environment that it's in
Right,
and
exactly.
decide what needs to be done. Okay. So you figure an AI will be able to survive and process context like a human being in our lifetime?
A lot sooner than our lifetime. I think we're talking about within 5 years. The curve is exponential. If you think about where we were 5 years ago in terms of technology, so computers are roughly 10 times more powerful than they were a few years ago. AI systems are achieving that kind of rate of progress. And,
Yeah.
it's partly a function of diffusion. Right now, NVIDIA can sell every chip that they can produce for a huge
They
amount of
can't
money.
produce enough of them. Yeah.
And the chips are creating an ecosystem of AI capability, which is going to continue to accelerate AI capability. I mean, it's a system that's now running on positive feedback.
Yeah. Network effects. So the large language models are all running into optimization issues insofar as there's a certain size. Now, I know we'll break that at some stage and set a new level, but we're running into limitations on the size of large language models. We're definitely running into limitations in the ability for NVIDIA to create chips to make the bloody things, if you know what I mean. And then there's the computing power limitation as well, and so forth, the electricity needed to
Yeah,
generate it. So, like, they're all solvable problems, as you'll
right.
say.
Another argument against your point about limitations. So you know that there are export restrictions, and the Chinese are no longer able to get their most advanced technologies in a lot of fields from the West. So obviously, they're trying to develop them at home. Um, but the scarcity of some of this technology has led to some amazing innovations. So
Yeah.
some researchers in China have created large language models that are as capable as they engineered a workaround. They were restricted from using this super advanced technology, so they engineered a workaround. The workaround turned out to be more efficient, uses less electricity, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So innovation is driving. The competitive nature of innovation is driving this process. And
Maybe you need your electronic records depository, but you don't need humans to interact with it. The next step is to get an agent to interact with it.
right, exactly.
But that,
I
yeah.
had a chat a couple of days ago with the guy who has a company that uses AI to analyze patents. AI systems can analyze the entire patent history of humanity, right? As long as they can get access to the data, which they can because they're public domain. And they can use that to predict the development of technologies because they can see where the patents are leading the fields.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah.
And so, we have this large scale pattern recognition capability.
So I use Gemini at the moment because I like it's a little bit more
Mhm.
controlled, but I love the Chinese models. I thought it was much more clean and logical in terms of its response to engineering style prompts. And for figuring out and analyzing, I felt it was a lot stronger than ChatGPT anyway.
But it's all about, from our perspective, learning and understanding where the technology is going so that we can help large organizations and nations to figure out, what do they need to do? How do they need to invest? How do they need to educate? What do they need to be prepared for? From everything I can see, it's, as I said, it's a complete revolution. It's going to transform the economy. It's going to transform society.
Yeah.
And, there's a lot of risks and dangers and concerns that we all have. And there isn't much that's going to stand in the way of whatever's going to happen. So we
Yeah.
have to be prepared, and we have to build in whatever ethical framework we
Safeguard.
can,
Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
and practical restraints. But this bus is moving, and we got to understand where it's going. And innovation leads you into strategy because innovation is really a tool for strategy, and strategy leads you into futurism. So that's where we
Yeah.
are. And now futurism leads you to AI because AI is the future.
Yeah, definitely. AI will be part of everything that we do. Well, it already is part of almost everything that we do. Like anyway, Langdon, it's been a pleasure talking to you, and you're inspiring to listen to. I like your vision and your optimism
Well, thank
towards the
you.
future. And it's a lovely picture. Well, I feel it's a lovely picture. I can see how it can be worrying for people sometimes,
Yeah,
but as you're
yeah,
saying, that's the journey we're going on.
yeah,
And
exactly. Yeah,
need to
I,
help people get on the bus.
absolutely. Hey, I really appreciate you. Everything you shared with me was really, really interesting, and I think it's going to make a great video. I'd love to have another chat with you sometime. Thanks very
See
much,
you
Connor.
later.
Take
Bye
care.
bye.